Hello and welcome to my reflection for this educational technology course. Here I'm starting with my paper for my initial vision. And in this initial vision, I go down here, I talked about how I wanted to try to incorporate web quests into what I do in my mathematics classroom. So to fill you in, I teach Algebra 1 to 9th graders. And why I wanted to look at web quests, well, I'm always looking for ways to help my students become better problem solvers and critical thinkers, since they need those types of skills this year when they take like the PSAT 9 and eventually when they move towards taking the SAT and moving on to college, and just using those skills in general, not just in math class but in other areas, is extremely important. So when I was looking at WebQuest initially for this paper, I had thought, okay, it'd be great to use them for our linear functions unit, since it's a large part of our first semester. A lot of content revolves around that. So down here, I had thought that, I guess I had just for some reason thought that WebQuest had to be used summatively, like as a maybe end project to a unit, and that's what I had initially wanted to do here. So having them maybe do a project to maybe compare linear models, maybe using Desmos for that. I guess what I've realized is that web quests don't have to be summative assessments of knowledge. They can be used formatively, and I've been doing that throughout the semester, really, through the projects that we've done. So if I go to my portfolio that I've created, and I go to, let's go to September, and look at the hyperdoc that I did, this is almost a web quest itself, because I have them learning about the families of functions, and they are given like initial information. They are like watching a video to fill in their knowledge, filling out a chart on a Google Doc, using, if I click here, a website to kind of look more in depth into these different families. If I go back, what else were they doing? They were playing like a game here, like a matching game, and just had them using various web resources to kind of introduce the topic to them, which I guess I forgot that, you know, these web-based resources can be used to introduce topics, and that's something I think I want to incorporate into my class more, whether it's a topic like this on families, or more in depth in linear, or something later in the year. Actually, for later in the year, I guess I technically did create a web quest here in my online lesson plan, key features of a parabola. I guess I'm actually kind of kicking myself now that I didn't create it for the linear unit that we're actually starting this week, but now I guess I have this to use in second semester when we actually talk about parabolas, which is nice. So this has them like here, going through different tasks, like again watching a video, typing notes, playing an online game again to build on their vocabulary. And in day 2, they are using a simulator. I have found these to be, like, simulators to be really helpful, because they get to, like, on their own, try to figure out what's happening as they compare different variations of, like in this case, an equation. And then I do have a summative part here as well, to kind of see what their knowledge is at by having to do a project, where if I show you this here, they're trying to create a graph, that they find a real-world example of a parabola, fill in all the parts on the graph, vertex, x-intercepts, and they are going to be, they're not here, but let's see, homepage. There are these critical thinking questions that they have to consider, so it really tells me a lot about what they've learned. So it's been helpful in this course to just be reminded that technology is important for that formative aspect, which I kind of forget sometimes. And I try to think, how can I use it summatively, but the formative is just as important. So I've really enjoyed taking a closer look into all of these different projects we've been doing, like creating the HyperDoc, using the Google Slides. I've used Google products before, but it's been nice to kind of refresh myself on those and see how they can work in a math class. 'Cause I didn't have any of these things when I was taking math classes, so it's nice to see how they can be used and have a course that teaches you how to use them, of course. So I just want to say thank you as well for providing all of the support and resources to look into, and I've enjoyed creating all of these projects, and I hope you enjoyed viewing them as well. So thank you very much. I enjoyed this semester.